3, 2, and 1. Welcome, everybody, to SpellCast. Welcome. The nice little podcast where we talk about all things Spellbreak. Got with me a beautiful guest over here, nicely trimmed up after that no shave. It's past November now and December, but it's all nice and trimmed up. How are you doing, Mr. Timmy?
I'm doing great. I actually did the no shave 2020. My wife got me, I didn't have much of a beard back last Christmas, but she got me some beard stuff, and I was like, this could be a sign. So I grew it out, and we finally trimmed it up. But yeah, man, I'm feeling good. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic. It's great to be back on the podcasting scene. I took a good 2-week break for Christmas, and now we're all back for the new year. It's going to be a great new year. I think that Spellbreak really has some good potential to really pop off this year. I think that if we get the right updates at the right time, I think we're right on our way. But enough about how I'm doing. Let's talk about you. Who are you, for those of you that don't know, and why should we listen to you today? What brought you into Spellbreak?
What's up, you guys? My name's Timmy. If you want to be official, it's IXI Timmy IXI on Twitch and pretty much all the other socials. You should listen to me because I know what I'm talking about. But no, I've been playing Spellbreak since pre-alpha. I think 2018 is when I started it. Before I could even stream the game, I was playing the game. I was just super interested in the concept from the get-go. I actually got into the game from I was streaming Fortnite and was doing really well Fortnite, and that's kind of when I started taking streaming a little bit more seriously. And one of my regulars popped in and was like, "Hey, I don't know if you've heard about this game Spellbreak, but it seems really cool, something like you'd be interested in." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, that sounds great. Sign me up." And he literally signed me up, and like a week later, I checked my email, got the key, played the game, and was like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible. I can't wait for the NDA to be lifted so I can play it on stream." NDA got lifted, started playing it on stream, loved it. My stream loved it. But at the time, the community was just a little bit smaller. So I couldn't make it my main game. But then beta was released, and I got an email. I was like, beta's out. And I was like, what? Spellbreak's back. Is there enough people to play? And the community's been big enough since beta for me to stick around. And I've been here, and I'm in for the long run ever since then, man.
Yeah, it's always a great time. I remember the first time that I went and played Spellbreak was I had a buddy of mine. Literally, I was creating Elder Scrolls content at the time, and this was like way back in 2018. The guy's like, "Hey, here's a cool little game you might want to check out. Here's a code for it." So I checked it out. It was awesome. This was back in pre-alpha too. I think it was December 2018. So I've been on it for a while too. That's 2 years now. Holy moly! But anyway. Caught on ever since, and once that NDA lifted, man, it was go time. And I'm sure you mentioned that you were in the same boat. So we've both been playing for quite a while, and now we're at Chapter 1. Let's talk about it a little bit. This is the most recent update that Spellbreak got. Of course, a few matchmaking hotfixes in between while we wait for that holiday update. But yeah, lots of things changed. You want to go over some of your favorite ones?
I mean, obviously, the one thing that I've kind of talked about with my community for over a year, the cool thing about Spellbreak, and one of the things that really, I loved the game for what the concept was, and from the get-go, and when I started playing it, it just felt great. But one thing from a content creator's perspective that I noticed was how fun it was to watch the game because of how satisfying it was with the projectile combat and the movement, specifically vertical movement. So one thing I've talked about with my community forever is, man, with all this awesome verticality in Spellbreak, it'd be cool if we had more of an opportunity to use it other than just like on mountainsides and stuff. And I think with Bogmore's update, or Dead Moss Bogmore, whatever you want to call that, all of that verticality that was added has just been like, not only is the area just beautiful, I think that once we get more fights in that area and we get more familiar and we get players that are in the element tournaments that are more familiar with that area, there are going to be a lot of really, really interesting fights going on there with all the verticality available and the just the landscape in general. I mean, the tunnels and stuff. I love it. I love it. And then the cosmetics. I mean, Chapter 1 for me, I feel like was one of the. I feel like Chapter 1. I would have loved to see was what I would like to see Spellbreak look like when it got fully released, because I feel like this is one of the best versions we've seen of the game in a long time, and I think it all came with Chapter 1. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens with it, man.
Yeah, and on that topic of map changes, I think they've announced one that's coming in the middle of Chapter 1. I'm not sure what it could be or if there's even any theories on it or anything like that, but that's exciting to kind of keep track of. I'd like to see what different parts of the map are going to shift around. But yeah, going back to your Bogmore point, I had the pleasure of not hosting, but casting some scrims yesterday. And there were a few early game fights in Bogmore that were really, really interesting. Plenty of places to duck into, tunnels like you mentioned, plenty of places to reset and sort of get that cover that you desperately need. And I've yet to see a final circle finish on Bogmore, but it would be very, very fun to see like all that different terrain and the tunnels and the different places you can dip away, how that would kind of factor into that final circle situation. It's always fun to speculate on that kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
that's what I really want to see. In circle there would be great just to see everybody like at their full potential with their runes and their talents, everything activated and being able to really make the most of that area because, like I said, I don't think we've seen it yet. I think there's tons of potential there, and we're just waiting. We got to see what happens, dude. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. But getting into some of the changes that we saw with Chapter 1 in terms of like balance and different classes, I'm sure you're pretty happy about your conflagration changes. They're no longer blocking your fireballs, so you can play up close and personal and that kind of thing. Of course, Combust got touched, but that's kind of like a non-issue. Man, Frostborn and Tempest, we got to talk about those. Frostborn went in one patch from being the worst class in a solo environment to one of the best. And Tempest nowadays, you see him just bunny hopping, getting that quick little squall buff. That's an absolutely disgusting build that you can run with the glass cannon. So give me some of your opinions on some of these class changes that we're seeing.
I always thought that like Frostborn was one of those classes when you saw it in the hands of a good player, and I think specifically in squad, when you make it like you make a little cubby hoe or you make a little pot, you keep a little sniper in your pocket and it's your teammate with the frost. I feel like that's a really good place for that Frostborn class to really pop off. And I've seen players like Marcus, I've seen players like Diego Contra and obviously Kamsky, T-Foul, those guys are incredible, but Frostborn players that really push the class and show you that one of the cool things about Spellbreak is sometimes something might not necessarily be the most optimal choice and the easiest way to go, but if you spend time and you get the experience with it, you can really activate it and make it pop off to where it can. And I've seen that happen even before the update. Now I'm seeing it happen even more. I mean, the fact that you get that free shot without the mana at what is it, level 4, I think it is. And I think the alacrity movement is like, I don't think they really did much to alacrity, but like just all the little quality of life changes that came along with Frostborn on top of somebody that knows how to use that alacrity. I think people are sleeping on how good alacrity is because I've seen some like huge brain IQ plays happen from just like one little puddle of alacrity on the ground. And so it's cool to see that class that a lot of people I think are sleeping on start to get a little bit more spotlight because, now it's a little bit easier to use. For Pyromancer, dude, I'm happy. I'm super excited. The bane of my existence was for people to automatically lump me into, oh, he plays Pyromancer, so he can't aim. Oh, he relies on Combust all the time. And I understand that's the class, that's the way it was built. But I prefer hitting those precise shots. So now that there's less ability to crutch on the Combust and the Conflag as much. But still, when I say that, I get other good players but say, but Timmy, Ignite. I'm like, yes, Ignite is really strong. I think Ignite needs to go away as well, or at least be changed in some way. I mean, denying somebody's ability for invisibility, denying healing, getting a little bit of tracking from just getting that precise hit is super strong. And now that I can do it with Conflagration, I don't think we need it as a Pyromancer. I don't think we need it. But I am glad that they took a step in the direction of stop letting people that rely on the AoE splash get easy wins. For me, that's not what I like. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, For Tempest, I've just seen crazy stuff, dude. The
Me and you both.
Oh man, just such a huge insurgence of Tempest players with the Squall And I've even seen, I don't think the Wind Gauntlet itself got buffed or anything. It was just the class, right?
Yeah, it's just the class, just Squall actually,
Yeah, just
and
Squall.
Updraft has the bug, but I won't count that.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people use the Wind Gauntlet as well, and I'm trying to figure out what has changed recently because, like, when I'm hosting my stacked and stuff, I've just seen
Hmm.
it's probably went from 10 to 15% Wind Gauntlet users to like 60 to 70% Wind Gauntlet users. Like I'm seeing
Really?
Wind Gauntlets everywhere. Yeah, and I don't know why, but
Wow.
it's working out. I mean, the wind spam's coming through with some high damage. I don't know what's happening if it's a talent build that's been activated, maybe
Hmm. Hmm.
focus mana and fervor and recklessness, maybe.
Maybe. Crashy brings up a good point in chat saying that maybe it's due to tornado damage buffs, but if they're just
Hmm.
using the wind shears, I mean, nothing's been changed for wind shears. They're the same damage as they've always been. Maybe it might just be like a popularity change because I know that Darkbreakers even yesterday was running wind offhand. He's been running it for quite a while, even post alpha nerf. So I
Yeah,
mean, it is making it work pretty well for him as kind of just an HP shaving device. Like whenever an opponent's like
yeah.
50 HP and you want to get that quick little exile, you just hit them with wind and nothing they can do.
That's the
Um,
exact player who and you know, I'm glad you made that point. I think it is being popularized by some of the more experienced veteran like element players, and some of the newer
mhm.
players coming into the community are seeing these players and saying, you know, that's working really well for them. Maybe I should use it as well. Maybe that's
Yeah,
what's going on
yeah, maybe
because
so. 'Cause,
yeah,
well,
Darkbreakers is definitely doing that for sure.
yeah, he likes to run a lot of focus mana and fervor, and that just by itself can amplify that damage really, really well. I know that Crashy himself even has a conduit build where he runs wind offhand, and he can use the interaction with power surge and focus mana to just keep that 4 seconds of increased damage going. So you land a stun, and then you're hitting people with like I don't know what the exact number of damage is, but it's probably upwards of like 14, 15 wind slaps, something like that,
Oh
in close
God.
range. And you know how easy
Oof.
they are to hit too.
Yeah.
How wide those bananas are. So
No,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. Oh
yeah.
man, that's difficult. That's a frustrating, like it's a frustrating to play against too, because if you're an experienced Spellbreak player, I think Spellbreak has a lot of burst damage. Like it's just,
Oh yeah.
most of it is a lot of burst damage. So when you have a player like Crashy or even Marcus, aka Apostle, they're very much going to do that poke damage and you know, keep their distance. If you come close, they're going to keep their distance. If you get too close, they're going to punish you with some type of CC. And I think
Hmm.
that play it's starting to be more popularized by people like Crashy and I don't think people are really
Hmm.
like suited or ready to deal with it right now. They're like, oh, just get back here and fight me. And Crashy's just like, ha, 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 I got you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Well, it's yeah. But here's the thing though, is that Frost, the gauntlet itself, got that flash freeze buff, and now you have the higher barrier that blocks those wind shears. So now I feel like if there's too many wind users coming off, then you can get kind of not an anti-meta because I don't really see wind as a meta, but you're going
Mm.
to probably see just a sort of counter coming out with it. Maybe that's what we'll see in the future. I know it's what we had before, and then people kind of slept on it, and now they're going to start waking up. So that's going to be my prediction. But that
Oh yeah.
frost is feeling really strong. It's something I like to say to a lot of our Spellbreak friends is that yeah, frost is probably the best offhand gauntlet by far on pretty much any class you want to run it on as a long
Mm.
range option, and then they just buffed it on top of it. So I really
Yeah.
don't see it not being used a lot.
Oh yeah. I don't think I ever remember a time that Frost was not something that you wanted to be able to have in your pocket. You want to be able to hit those shots. Like it fits on almost every single class, and the fact that the flash freeze is even better now. I mean, when you see somebody that knows how to use it
Yeah.
well, it's like, does
Oh
this
my
gauntlet even
goodness.
have a weakness? You know, like it's got
Have
the close
you
range covered. It's
have you
crazy.
heard of this drop down flash freeze that people are starting to do, like Kamsky and Thunderson? Have you heard of this before?
No.
Okay, so what you do is you float in the air with your sorcerer. You cancel it 3 times so that you can't float in the air when you cast it. And then you find an unsuspecting opponent, you drop down on them and activate flash freeze on the way down, and it just spawns in a flash freeze
Oh.
right as they drop in, get a freeze, and then they just slap it on down with toxic. They do it a lot on toxicologists, so you can get like a free
Oh yeah.
outbreak on. Oh,
That's
it's
that's dirty, man. That
yeah.
player retention be dang, dude. You know.
Yeah, for real, for real. It's something one of those things that like you almost have to like not be looking out for it to get hit by it, but like you were saying, these new players they don't know what's coming, so it's such a cheese strategy.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
yeah, but
But yeah, Steam release too, chapter one, man. I mean,
yeah,
God,
yeah,
that was awesome. I
yeah.
think
We
we
really did
saw
have a
like
lot of steam.
we had like an insurgence of players. I think when the chapter one first hit, and you know we
Mhm.
had the sponsor streamers and stuff. We had a lot of people watching and playing. I think that's slowed down a little bit, but I can tell you from a
Mhm.
content creator's perspective, that's like live 5 nights a week and getting seeing new people come in. The Steam release
Mhm.
has slowly, like it's slowly growing the community over time, man. It's pretty cool to see all these new players like continuously come in because they seen it on the Steam store or whatever. It's awesome.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. And one of the things that me and a lot of players are worried about is, are we going to be able to keep those Steam players? And one of the things I wanted to ask you about from a streamer's perspective is Spellbreak has kind of been, or the Spellbreak community has been kind of outcrying for this sort of progression that needs to enter the game to kind of keep players playing. How has it been for you on the streaming side of things as far as like keeping people playing the game? Like how many people are happy with chapter one? Like, are you able to gauge that from your chat at all?
It's difficult because I was just talking about this. I think Crashy was even involved with the conversation on Twitter earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that I talk to my like community members and players that I know have been around for a while, and I get their input and their
Mm-hmm.
experience is almost 180 from mine, and it's because I almost exclusively run stack solos and
Mm-hmm.
almost exclusively play Spellbreak while I'm streaming, and I'm always running an event. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime that I'm playing, I'm bringing people in to play together. So I'm filling lobbies up. So I don't have the experience where I get half a lobby that's half bots, half new players, or I'm waiting in queue
Mm-hmm.
for a long time. So for me and from all the viewers that hangs out with me, we're always having such a great experience. It's always fun. I mean, there's discussion about things that could be tweaked or changed a little bit to make it a little bit better or worse because it's a little bit unbalanced, but there's never anything that's like everybody is like, oh, this is horrible, I can't believe they did this, I can't play the game because of this.
Mm-hmm.
So like as far as from my perspective and the people in my chat, we're always having a great time. The games are always full. Everybody's happy with everything, and other than my boy Gadlig always getting salty because he's trying to use Featherfall and get sniped out of the air. Um, but other than that, excuse me. Other than that, it feels like from my perspective, it's just everything's going great. I get new followers every single night saying, "Hey, I just found the game. I love it. How can I get better? Where's the place to hang out? Go to the Element Discord."
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, from my perspective, it feels great. So
Well, that's good to know. I was expecting honestly a different answer, but I'm glad that's working out very very well for you. And speaking of stack solos, man, what a what a way to attract new players. I mean, I always I try to talk about it in my little inner circles, like how great something like I'm gonna I'm gonna put element on a high horse a little bit because I love what it's doing for the community, and but also stack solos on, I would say, like still competitive but maybe on the more casual side of things. Like it's doing a great job of keeping players interested in something within the game, even if it is community ran. But what gave you that idea to start doing stack solos? Like, because I mean, maybe you're just looking for more competitive lobbies, but maybe it's just something for you to hang out in. Like what
yeah,
inspired that?
well, so you playing the game for a long time, as long as I have, as long as you have, there was a point, especially I think around beta days,
Hmm.
where um you pretty much you would go and win every single lobby. Every single lobby was just the cakewalk. It was fun to feel good, but like
Yeah.
you, unless you got lucky to queue into somebody that you knew, then it was like, oh man, I can't wait to run into that guy. I can't wait to run into that person and fight them. That was what I wanted to do the most. Like I didn't care about winning games anymore. I just wanted good fights. But as you know, I'm a
Mhm.
dad. I got a family, and competitive stuff I didn't think was something that was possible for me. Although now looking at elements,
Mhm.
schedules, and stuff, it's very, very inclusive and very, very thought out in ways that people that are in situations like me can join in. But at the
Mhm.
time, I just didn't think that I could join, and at the same time, I didn't think I could compete with the younger guys that were like, 8 hours a day. I'm going to scrim. I'm going to scrim. I'm going to be the best competitive player. But I still wanted a good fight. So I
Yeah.
thought, I'm going to start anybody that's hanging out with me. I know we got some good players that like to hang out in my chat sometimes. I want to make it to where we can all queue up. We could have, just some fun. We get some good fights. It doesn't matter who wins or loses. And it started growing
Mhm.
bigger and bigger, and more people started coming to hang out, and we had new players that wanted to join in. And the really interesting thing was we had some new players that would join in, and my spiel before stack solos was always, if you're a killer, if you're a monster, if you want to fight the best of the best, come fight us, blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
I never really thought, wow, that's kind of probably scary for new players, maybe they might not want it. However, I had a lot of new players that came into the community and found my stack solos and kept playing and kept playing. And after a few weeks, it was they were winning rounds, and they had improved so much, and they were like DMing
Yeah.
me and saying thanks. And I was like, holy crap, this thing I was doing kind of for myself to kind of just bring better players together. There's people that are really enjoying it, really benefiting from it. And
Mhm.
I cannot remember what got me into casting one night. I just started casting just out of necessity because I wanted
Yeah.
everybody to be in the same game, and I didn't
Mhm.
want to have to just spectate without any kind of commentary over it. So it just came
Mhm.
natural. But you were kind of asking me earlier about like casting experience and where that came from, and I was thinking about it before we went live today, and it's really
Mhm.
funny. Um, yeah, I've got 3 kids. I've been married for
Yeah.
almost 12 years now.
Damn,
Uh,
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm still on my honeymoon. Best decision of my life. Um, but yeah, so I've always tried to be really interactive with my kids. I've always wanted to be a dad. I just wanted to make sure I'd be the best that I could be when I got in this situation. So I've always want to try to
Mhm.
engage them and bring us together any way I can. And I learned early on there was a few different times where they were like maybe playing a game, or maybe like we like to wrestle around, spar a little bit, just for
Mhm.
fun. And anytime that I would like commentate on what they were doing and get excited about it, they would be more excited. They would be more engaged. And
Yeah.
it was like when I started doing that, it kind of felt like, oh, I kind of this is kind of coming natural to me. This feels, this is not,
Mhm.
I feel like I could do this. And that's when I started learning that I could cast a little bit. But then Stack Solos kind of took it to a whole other level when I started like taking it seriously and people started enjoying it and complimenting me in stream. So yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
much how it all started.
Yeah, I think I remember that when you were first getting started. I'm like, who is this guy starting to cast now? Because like I was trying to make this is a little bit selfish of me, but I was trying to make a name for myself when I was first getting into casting, and then once I got started a little bit, I started looking over to your stream, like, oh, we got another caster over here. Okay, a little competition. So
I was always fans of you. You and Play Safe. Oh yeah, dude. Before a casting was even a dream, a twinkle in my eye, I was fanboying over you and Play Safe doing your thing on Elements. So you were always
yeah,
ahead of me.
we're still learning how to do it, man. I feel like our formula changes up on the daily, but it's been a good racket. I'm glad. By the way, those of you that don't know, Timmy is now a backup caster, or at least an alternate caster for Element now. So very excited to have you on the team, bud. I think the last one that we had was really really fun. I think you're only going to get better from there, and you have
Oh
some
yeah.
events coming up too that I think you're scheduled to cast. So. If I remember correctly, you might be scheduled with Crashy or Mana Class. How excited are you for that?
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Like I've had a chance to cast with you, learned a lot, and I just feel like
Mm-hmm.
the more I cast with all the different casters, everybody brings something different to the table, and I'm just going to pick up and learn and vibe off of everybody so much. And it's kind of cool to
Mm-hmm.
see a career path kind of emerging. I mean, right now we're doing it community wise and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but like I think one reason why I was excited to jump on Element was because I respect every single person that works in there. It's a community driven thing. It's very professional. And I'm just excited to learn more about this, get more involved, and be amongst peers that I respect and I know I can learn from. So it's no difference with Play Safe, Mana Class, Crashy. Play Safe is just incredible. I've always just been
He's on another level.
Yeah, man. He's I always he inspires me a lot on my style of casting a bit, but I think I'm a little bit. He gets excited toward the end of a thing, it's like pretty calm, pretty calm. Then whoa, I'm excited because that's something awesome happened. I'm pretty much I'm getting excited the whole entire time, no matter what's happening. So I'm bringing a lot of energy. As long as I can, pump the brakes and hand it off whenever I need to, I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and as Crashy is correctly pointing out there, I didn't know this before I asked the question, but I just saw our schedule. We're actually casting together in 6 days on the 9th, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We have scored solo scrims over on Element, so this will be a very, very fun revisit. By the way, those of you that don't know what Element is, it's a community Discord that puts on competitive events, and we stream a lot on Twitch and also upload the VODs to YouTube. So definitely check it out, especially if you're looking to get into competitive Spellbreak. But yeah, we have a nice little show coming up in 6 days, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. And to comment on your energy, man, that's one thing that I'm really looking for in a caster, because me myself, I can bring a little bit of energy, but I'm more of an analytical mind. But those of you in the extrovert part of things, y'all bring a whole lot of energy that I lack. So it's very, very nice to have that sort of complement going on. So I really appreciate the energy all the time.
Oh yeah, we vibe really well together. I feel that it works pretty good. We vibe off each other.
Yeah, for sure. But getting into some of our competitive events that we just discussed here, I mean, obviously we're doing everything in our power on Element side of things to really bring the community together, and provide an incentive to get into these tournaments. And we just had a nice little announcement that I'll go ahead and show on screen for you guys, that we just rolled out. It's for Cash Cup that we're putting on. So I'm really, really excited for this particular one, because it's not just one tournament, but it's actually two going in tandem with each other throughout the whole entire month of January. And whether you're a trio, whether you're just going solo, I mean, there's plenty of opportunity for you to get involved, and that's what I really like about this kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I think it's really cool to see Element putting more resources into it. Obviously, the money online is a big deal for competitors, and anything like this is it pushes the game. Every time I've seen people like Elpadog or Kamsky or something post a new technique that they found, it's like, what? You can do that in Spellbreak? And I think Element and these type of tournaments are just going to continuously push that. And I'm really excited, man, because anyone that's been keeping track of the developers' Twitters and the streams and stuff, they've been very vocal about how much fun they've been having testing the new game modes. So I don't know when we're going to get them. But they have been talking about so much how much fun they've been having testing these modes out. So who knows what that could mean for Element in the future of Element tournaments if we have more competitive minded modes that allows these players and Element to push. I'm excited. I just can't wait.
Yeah, do you remember what Twitter that was on? Because I'd like to pull it up if we can.
Let me see. I think Jesse was talking about.
Good old Curlin Cheek. So I'll go ahead and search that while we get more on the topic of new game modes, because that's always something really, really exciting that me and a lot of players like to bring up. We we were talking about this new game mode that they had kind of alluded to, that Crashy correctly pointed out on one of his videos from the After Hours stream that Seth was talking about when he was talking with Tacos on if he could snap his fingers and bring something into Spellbreak right now without having to worry about work or money or anything like that. One of the things he said was to bring in a CSGO style type of game mode with an in-game economy and a 5v5 objective.
Yep.
So really gets the noggin jogging on what might be coming in.
Yeah, I always love listening to what Seth has to say in terms of game modes because it always surprises me. But yeah, I think I was on that
Mm.
stream with Tacos when we asked. He's very much in the idea of the CS:GO, and it's hard for me to wrap my mind around that with Spellbreak. But man, it could be amazing.
Yeah, so the way I think about it is if you're going to have a CSGO style, personally, I'd like to see 4v4 or 3v3 because I think 5v5 is just a little bit much, but that's just my opinion. Um, but what you could do is the different rarity of gauntlets could actually play a unique role here. You could start out with commons or greens, uncommons, and then as the round progresses, you can then spend money to get higher rarities of gauntlets. You can like trade out. Let's say everyone starts off with like wind or something, or lightning or whatever you want to start off with. You can then like opt to get new gauntlets. You can then say, hey, I want to buy a dash rune or I want to buy shadow step, whatever I want to do. And then I guess in the middle, or maybe you have like a base situation, you can then put like a mana vault or something that you have to activate, something like that. But that's just my brainstorming. I'm sure someone else would have a lot better ideas. But one of the big arenas or the big game modes that we've been talking about is arena. I know a lot of people like the 3v3 style of things. So give me your take on that.
I think Arena would be great as well. I think with Spellbreak, honestly, it's cliche, but the sky's the limit. Like, there's so much potential here with what they've built in the combat system that it could
Mm-hmm.
really be applied to almost any mode and make it fun. They just have to be clever with the way they're doing it. I like the idea of buying your loot upgrades and stuff instead of having to rely on RNG. Obviously, RNG is just never a fun thing whenever you're trying to be competitive. Um,
Yeah.
the way that the developers have talked since the inception of Spellbreak is they are very, very like RPG minded. So
Mm-hmm.
if I had to bet, they would most likely want you to select some sort of pre-built thing. So that's what I would
Mm-hmm.
expect instead of any kind of uh, like uh, like system where you had to buy stuff. Even though that's what Seth said he would want to see. Even though he's the founder and is a big voice, he's one of many. And I think overall, although that's something that he would like to see, I think overall the game it would work better with like a pre-built or pre-chosen layout
Yeah,
or
like
build.
like a loadout.
Yeah, loadout. So yeah, I mean arena would be really fun. I personally have always thought came up with a mode in my mind that I would like to see dual mode.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, a quick little breakdown of what it would be is you spawn inside of a cage, and outside of the cage is a courtyard, and across the courtyard is another cage with another player inside. You both
Mm-hmm.
select your classes to start off with. You all both have complete legendary loot. Behind you in the cell that you're in, on the wall, are the runes that you can select and your secondary
Mm-hmm.
gauntlet choices, so that you can select whichever you want based on whatever map that you get. Because in the dual mode, since it's just going to be a courtyard sized map, it'd be small. So
Yeah.
I'd imagine multiple themed matches. So you could select the gauntlet in the room based on whatever map you have. After
Mm-hmm.
you've done that, countdown ticks in the top of your screen: 10, 9, 8, 7, blah, blah, blah. Cell door opens up. You both come out. You fight in this courtyard. It might be, imagine like a toxic swamp for one of the maps, themed for the toxicologist biome, or
Hmm.
a wintry, slippery map for frost, whatever. I imagine different magical themed biomes. Either way,
Yeah.
you go out, you fight it out. Whoever wins that round of the duel. Say it's OSK wins. OSK beats Timmy. OSK goes back into his cell. You
Mm-hmm.
open your eyes, you're back in your cell, and another player is on the opposite side, and now you have a run of one on your screen. And you keep
Hmm.
doing that until you either want to quit or until you die. And then let's say you beat 10 guys. That means your record is OSK got a run of 10. And let's say for
Hmm.
the month of January, you got 69 kills or 69 run, and that was the highest that anybody got in the whole month. So in the lobby, there's like a board
Hmm.
that says OSK like 69 on it. I thought it could
Wow.
be fun. That's what I'm imagining,
That's
man.
Wow, that's really interesting. That kind of brings back some of the memories of the leaderboard that we used to have. If you were there for that in
Yeah.
pre-alpha, that was really fun. I mean, obviously there were some problems with it, but that's something really cool that if you want to integrate into like the pregame lobby, you can like have a little board up that shows the top 10 placements. Like it can be global, it can be in the region you happen to be playing in,
Hmm.
it could be whatever you want it to be. But it'll show like, oh, this is the current standings and your leaderboard. Make sure you try to get up to these guys level or whatever you want to have.
And
So
that
yeah, I
alone,
really like that
that
kind of thing.
that's so much incentive, right? I think that
Yeah,
proletariat is ignoring the fact that Spellbreak has such a unique spell expression. When you're a good player, you're proud that you're a good player. And right
yeah,
now, there's no way you to show that in the game other than your mage rank, which I mean, that is what it is. But
yeah,
if they would just give us like a leaderboard in the lobby that showed our names or an aura or something like that alone would increase player retention, in my opinion. Just give us something to earn that
hmm
shows that we're good.
yeah.
That's
That's
it.
something I call attention to a lot. I always say it on this podcast in particular. Never underestimate the power of imaginary internet points, and
Exactly.
it's something that's true. I mean, you can look at Reddit, you can look at League of Legends, you could look at anything with a ranked mode. Everyone likes to show off their rank, saying, "Oh, I'm better than you because I'm gold, or you're silver, or whatever you want, or I have like this amount of LP, or I was this like a season before, and now I'm just grinding my way through silver right now, or whatever you want to do." That to me is so crucial in today's world. Like, yeah, we'd like to probably go back to the Modern Warfare 2 days where it didn't really matter and it was all ping based. There was a lot of players. You could just have fun, have big dumb fun, as they call it for Clash. But nowadays, it's like it's in a space where esports are so prominent and it's so competitive that you almost have to have it, or your game just gets passed up. I mean,
Right.
that's just an opinion of mine. I could be wrong, but that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, like a sandbox game like Minecraft or something like that, you can come back
Yeah.
and you don't really have to have a direct goal because you can just create and do whatever you want. But when you have a game that's
hmm
like Spellbreak and you can come and play when you want to, but if you're not really working towards something, it can just be repetitive, So like
Yeah.
give us a light at the end of the tunnel. And if you're working toward your platinum rank or whatever, and then one day you're like your boys message you up and you just want to have some fun, some big dumb fun on Clash or whatever, then yeah, we'll go play those game modes, and you would have people that are more likely to do that on their journey to their competitive goal or whatever, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I feel that exactly the same. So we're on the same wavelength here. We're in agreement. But now as we've been shown through, I forget if it was on After Hours or whatever it was. I was on vacation at the time, but someone pointed out that there was another tab in the
Hmm.
Spellbreak main menu lobby for leagues. And I'm
Yep.
really interested to know what that means. Whether it could be just a visible MMR for Battle Royale. Is it a new game mode? Like, I have no idea. What do you think?
I'm thinking it's one of two things. It's either ranked, some sort of ranked system where you go to leagues and yeah, you can MMR, you can see where you're at in the league, what league you're in, or
hmm
something they've talked about in the past, but I don't think it would be the right move, and I don't think it would be their choice. But they've talked about guilds in the past.
Yeah.
I think people might have mentioned maybe it could be something to do with player guilds, which would be kind of cool to have more community inside the game.
Yeah. Would be
I
easier
think
on
that,
their part, probably.
yeah, easier, of course, but higher priority, definitely not. Definitely not. Should definitely take a lower priority than getting something like ranked or some kind of system in there like that, in my opinion. But I think
hmm
it's either going to be a ranked system where you get to see, what league you're in, try to get to a master league, a master wizard apprentice league, I don't know, or some type
hmm
of community hub where you can, go to the OSK league or something like that.
It's interesting to speculate on this kind of thing because it's not like let me think about this, because whenever you want to go play, obviously you have your play tab, and then you have practice, tutorial, clash, battle royale, and then I would think like you would have a separate tab within the play tab that then you can choose as casual or ranked mode, so where
Right.
you don't have to skip over like as one of the main menus or as one of the main tabs. Like that's kind of how my
Mm,
thinking goes. So that kind of feeds into the theory that maybe it's not ranked mode
yeah.
related, but maybe it is at the same time. Like leagues is such a vague thing to me in terms of what it could be. Like yes, it very well could be a ranked mode where you're separating players out based on how hardcore they want to take the game, or it could be just a community's way of grouping themselves into teams. Like it could be any number of things. So I mean,
You're right.
I don't know if we have an ETA on when that's supposed to come out, or if you've heard anything or anything like that.
No, have no idea. I'm sort of expecting something in January, but it's pretty vague.
Yeah.
I don't really know at all, to be honest with you. I love your idea of the fact that it's if it was a ranked type thing, it would probably be with the play button. So wow,
Yeah.
maybe it's like a community like guild system, but maybe it ranks the guilds. I don't know. Interesting,
I have no
interesting.
idea. um,
I'm excited.
yeah, something to get excited about though is at least I've been hearing through the grapevine that yes, Proletariat did take the New Year's off, so giving their employees like a lot of time to relax and then get ready to come back in. And this next week is going to be when they start rolling out stuff again. So that's something that I've heard. I don't know how true it is, but that's kind of what I've heard down the grapevine. And I'm interested to see because going back to chapter 1, I know that one of the changes they want to bring into is some of those map changes, and one of them, as we saw in the trailer, was an area of the fracture where you could kind of feather fall up and get a nice little height advantage and then just rain down spells from above. And obviously, like, that might be the only thing that they change in the map, but I think that there's going to be a lot more than that. What are your theories on that?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I seen the video where it looked like there was like almost like an updraft wind coming from the fracture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, dude, so okay, I don't know if that's going to be like a map change. For me, when I saw that, I instantly thought, well, that's going to be a quest. I thought that it would be,
That's kind of
there'd
what
be
I'm
a
thinking
quest to
too.
go out, investigate the fractures. But could they do that on like individual player basis, or does that mean they just have to be present for the entire map? Probably
Mhm.
have to be present for everybody, right?
Yeah. I mean, you would think, right? I don't think they're gonna make it a quest thing. To be honest, I was kind of out. I don't know if the rift thing happened yet while I was gone. I was gone for like 10 days, so I probably missed like a whole section
Mm-mm.
of the story. Can you tell me if rifts have come out already?
No, no rifts or anything like that. So far, the most that I've seen in terms of like the story quest is just
Mm.
go find a location and just read a book. There was no like really huge visual indicators that I've seen.
Okay, so maybe because the way I think of it with rifts is that they would probably be visible to everybody on the map, whether you're doing the quest or not, because that's kind of how it was with some of the go to the locations on the map and then find these things. Because I was running into the chests for that very first story mission.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go like I forget if it was books or if it was chests or something like that. But I was seeing them
Oh,
before I had access to the quest itself. So I would think that if it's something game altering and it could just be something that's visible to everyone on the map that just kind of pops up while the quest is active. So it probably could be used by multiple people, regardless if they've completed it or not. That's kind of my train of thought, but I
yeah.
don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
I'm thinking for like the fractures, it probably you have to be on the quest to use it, but for like the updraft wind or the dimension, the portal things, you probably have to be on the quest. But the updraft
Mm,
fractures, it's probably just going to be present for everyone. I'm not sure, but I'm glad
mm,
that we're seeing these because, like I see Spud saying in the chat, one thing that I was really excited about whenever they said we're going to have much more like involved lore oriented quests and stuff with chapter 1, and they did. They brought through,
mm-hmm.
we're able to go find these books and these quests, and they have these like narrated weekly quest things. It's awesome. I
Mhm.
hope, and from what I'm seeing, I think they're going to do this. Hope that I see more of a visual representation on the map, like going to a
Mhm.
battlefield where there's like scorched land, and we have to I something more visually indicated that you're doing a quest other than just go to this point, find this thing, read this thing. It's a little bit glowy. I
Mhm.
wonder even if they could do something like, I know it'd be really, really hard, but like an escort quest or something,
Oh
have like an
wow.
NPC, have an NPC that you have to go activate that has to go like a short location, not like across the map or anything like that, but just get
Yeah.
it from this little location to this location alive. That could be insane. But I don't know. We'll
Man,
see.
that
Like
if they're
Fortnite
gonna
did.
be, go ahead.
I'm thinking like the Fortnite like did the things where like the big zombies came out and they would
Hmm.
attack you randomly. So they could do things like PVE where you could go to like those magical circles on the map and kind of like summon something. But
Yeah.
it's so hard to do that awesome PVE stuff without drastically interfering with the PvP stuff. You know?
You know what I just thought of is of course we're called the Vow Breakers in the game. We're like getting into the map whenever we really shouldn't be. And there's these other factions called Vow Keepers who have to use magic to then cast out the Vow Breakers. Maybe you could like just program a few bots in that Vow Keeper skin to then drop in on the map and then try to exile you that way. Maybe you can have like a small little skirmish of 3 bots or something. Maybe they're not like too terribly difficult, so like you're not getting wrecked by 3 bots at one time, but like they could drop in out of the sky at any point, and then you can have a small little skirmish with them as they're trying to rain on your parade. I feel like that's something that they could do that would really be
I
lore
love
friendly.
that. Brilliant idea. That's such a great idea to have. That's such a great idea that you could implement a PVE aspect
Hmm.
without it really interfering much, and it could still be
Yeah.
really, really fun. That's awesome. That's a great idea.
I'll tell you what, they probably could just do that right now without a quest related to it and just make every bot that you see a Vow Keeper. That way everyone knows, okay, this is a bot. It's going to react a certain way. And this is, it kind of like, it doesn't keep up the illusion that, that the player base is small or the player base is bigger than what it is. Like it is what it is, but I feel like it would be more fun than just pretending like you're fighting against a real player and then finding out it's a bot later. Like
Yeah,
I feel like that would be a better solution, but that's just my opinion.
that needs to be put on the Reddit or something. That's awesome. It it makes it adds a huge PVE aspect to the game without like I don't know why they didn't do it in the first place. It just makes the bot instead of us filling the lobbies full of bots because we don't have enough people to play. They're just adding a PVE aspect to the game that just makes it more immersive and more fun for us. That's just yeah, that's a great idea, man. That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
you can solve this PVE want overnight if you wanted to. Just literally reskin the bots. That's it.
Like that. Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be done
just
like that. You could
yeah.
what's the prologue skin that we got? I think it's like Sentinel or some
Uh,
kind of name like that. Just make it all
Long watch
Sentinels.
Sentinel.
Why not?
Yeah. Oh,
Or like
actually,
a
that
recolor
happened to me
skin.
one night. That was scary, man. I was playing Stack Solos one night, and
Mm-hmm.
apparently the West Coast gamers wanted to mess with me. I turned around
Oh
and I saw
really?
12 Long Watch Sentinels chasing me down, bro. It was awesome.
That sounds awesome to be honest. Like what if like one of them was a Frostborn and they're all laying down the path to chase you down? Oh my goodness. They could actually behave like an army, like a well-trained army. That'd be
Oh,
awesome. I need that in Spellbreak right now. I need it right
yeah.
now. Um
Yes.
but yeah, let me just go on the Reddit and type that up real quick.
You
Let me just
should.
go on over.
It's
I'm
funny
showing it
because
on
I made
stream right now. Create post.
do it.
but
Everybody
but
go
anyway.
upvote. Everybody go upvote.
Well, I'll do it
Yeah.
later. I'll do it later.
I'm-
I'll tell you that. But I'll do it after this podcast is done. But we're getting to our final 10 minutes here of our podcast. So while we're wrapping up here, let's talk about what sort of direction we would like Spellbreak to go. Obviously, they've been giving the competitive side a bone and like providing some cash for some of these, or at least one of these prize pools that Element had. And it seems like they're still going to be coordinating a lot of things, at least from Element side of things. Where do you see this game going? Do you see this being like a nice casual experience you can dive into and then dive out and have a good time? Or do you see it more like how League of Legends is, where there's a lot of competitive players and they've kind of embraced that aspect of it as like a core part of what they try to focus the game around?
Oh man, I'm not sure.
It's a tough question to put you on the spot with.
It's tough. I mean, it's just I think that the game is so incredible. The combat is so like fluid and satisfying. When you play, you want to get better. You want to like I feel like for me personally, when I play, I just want to get better and better and fight better players to test myself and just to see what I can do. And I know that that's not everybody's experience, not everybody's mindset, but I really feel like with Spellbreak, the more you get better at it, the more you want to get better at it. And I feel like competitive is always going to be a main central part of it. That doesn't mean that everybody's going to go into tournaments. That doesn't mean that there's always you're going to go scrim and you're going to, try to sweat it out till the end. No, I'm not a person that likes to do that personally. However,
yeah, me neither. That's
there
why I'm
might
casting.
always, casting, or there might always be somebody running stack solos where you can get a little bit competitive without, white knuckling your keyboard and mouse. So like, I think that competitive is always going to be a big part of it, but I think that I think that they're always going to have, big dumb fun, like you put it earlier. You got guys like Jesse, you got guys like Dan Ogles, and you just tell that they're just people that like to have fun. That's the reason there's knowledge potions in the game right now. So I think that competitive is going to be a huge, like the majority part of it, but there's always going to be a good section that's just, let's have fun and get in there and be stupid. I think it's important.
It almost brings up the question of either how long or if they will ever bring custom lobbies in for some of those players that want to sort of have that more competitive experience where you can like edit settings, you can edit like what parts of the map you're going to be closing the zone in. Like there's stuff like that could be tweaked, because I know PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, even like way back when they were popular, they had that option after a while. I know that like there's been some outside parts that have access to custom lobbies that you would then pay a fee to get access to. So I really don't see this game going forward without putting in some kind of custom lobby, because I mean it's something that's been in gaming for a while. I remember like even back in Modern Warfare 2 days, that was kind of like the first major game that I got in. There were custom private lobbies in there. So like I don't know how much of a strain it would be on their servers, but I feel like it's something that will be necessary in the future. Just to kind of get the competitive side in their own little box, so they're not smashing up snipe lobbies or something like that.
I could see that, and there's a lot of different ways that they could implement it without it really hurting their servers much. I think right now their biggest concern, and the reason we don't have it already, is because they're worried about how much it will hurt their community. I think that our competitive scene makes up a huge part of the Spellbreak community. Maybe the majority of the Spellbreak community, if you're not counting the new players that are just checking it out, is from the competitive scene. So if they gave us custom lobbies right now, I would say it would really, really drastically affect the lobbies in terms of how many real people are playing. But I think competitive lobbies are something that we need, definitely. I think if you look at any game that has become popular in the competitive scene in esports, stuff like Halo, Counter-Strike, all that, most of the games, most of the way that you see those games being played were custom modes that were figured out by the community, that the community decided this is the best way to play the game if you want to be competitive. Because a lot of the times the developers can go in with the best intention trying to make a mode that's competitive and whatever, but most of the time it's the community that knows what they want. And you give them the tools of a custom lobby and you let them make that, a lot of the times after a month or so, you're going to see a game mode that everybody agrees is the best way to play because the community came together to make it. And so that's what custom lobbies can really do. I think those are just going to be happening if the game's successful. If they don't have enough people in the community, I don't think they're ever going to give them to us because of the split, you know?
Yeah, that's an interesting point to bring up as far as like how many people actually do make up the competitive side, because we really have no access to that sort of data. I mean, I personally would like it if they like released a breakdown of how many accounts are in this mage rank bracket, how many are in this mage rank bracket, and then how many are 23 plus. That way we can see just like where the majority of the community is. I would imagine it's going to be in the level 1 to 20 range, obviously, because you have, most of the accounts, if they're done with Spellbreak, they're not going to grind past 20 or something like that. But I don't know. I could be pleasantly surprised, but that just about does it for our time here today. I know that hour went by pretty quick. So, but yeah, as far as closing us out, of course, I've been OSK, your host, and this has been Timmy. One last little shout out for yourself, buddy, and any sort of self-promotion that you have for your stream or your Twitter or anything.
What's up? I'm IXI, Timmy IXI. You can pretty much find me with that name on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. But if you want to find me and hang out with me on a weekly basis, I stream on Sunday to Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on twitch.tv/IXI. We do stack solos every single stream, and you guys are always welcome to come and hang out with us. So hopefully we see you there. Thanks for having me, OSK.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you that are looking at the stream, can't really find the information, it's actually in the description. Just hit that little down arrow. It should be right up there with our little guest tab. Of course, I've been OSK, your host. I got my own YouTube channel. It'll be down at the very, very bottom. The YouTube channel is called OSK Gaming, and I upload just random stuff over there. But guys, thanks for joining in with us. It's been a very, very nice and pleasant discussion, Timmy. This has been SpellCast. It's a weekly podcast that I host here on this channel. We'll have different guests every week as I'm able to do them. So if you would, please leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. And with that, we will go ahead and say good night, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Night.